Welcome, viewers, to Tales of Titans, where we make historical business stories come to life. We have a short but amazing tale for you today, so stay tuned. A small town in Florida was once the richest town per capita in the United States, all thanks to one shrewd businessman who urged his fellow townspeople to invest in Coca-Cola shares while they were still cheap. In the midst of the Great Depression, local banker Mark Welch, Mr. Pat Monroe, noticed that no matter how impoverished the person or how dire their financial situation, they'd always spend their last nickel on a nice frosty glass of Coca-Cola. Numbers aside, as the legend goes, this was what convinced Monroe that Coca-Cola would be a perfect long-term investment. Coca-Cola began publicly trading in 1919 for $40 a share. By the time Monroe set his sights on it, though, the company had run into issues surrounding the wider sugar industry and Coca-Cola's bottlers, bringing the price right down to just $19 per share. In other words, at the time, it was trading for less than cash in the bank. Monroe could smell the potential, with his daughter quoting him as saying, "Daddy liked the taste, and he figured folks would always have a nickel for a Coke." He might not have known Coca-Cola's red-hot bargain price was the deal of a century right there and then, but he did know he liked what he saw. With the idea of unshakable branding and bottom-line profits firmly planted in his mind, Monroe started snapping up Coca-Cola shares like there was no tomorrow. From 1929 to 1932, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average plummeted, losing 89% of its value, Coca-Cola demonstrated its resilience. In 1931, even with unemployment nearing 20%, the sales of Coca-Cola only decreased by a modest 2.3%. Monroe's earlier observation held true. People were willing to spend their last bit of money on the refreshing drink. The company's strong financial standing, with $6.5 million in cash and zero debt, ensured it could maintain its dividend payments. For Quincy residents, this meant an essential lifeline during the harshest economic times. Monroe leveraged the trust and respect his community had for him and set out on a crusade to get anyone he could on board the Coca-Cola train. Whenever a person came into his bank for a loan, he'd encourage them to take out extra cash for shares. Farmers, grocers, teachers, absolutely anyone who could spare the money. This was an opportunity he wanted to see the entire town capitalize on. Monroe urged to buy and buy and buy, but more importantly, Monroe urged to hold, no matter what short-term market fluctuations occurred. The dividends from the Coca-Cola shares practically kept the local economy alive in times of need, ensuring Quincy survived the Great Depression, every subsequent recession since, and of course, as a small farming town, whenever the crops failed. A conservative estimate of 67 from Quincy's total 1940s population, less than 4,000, amassed grand fortunes, making them the now called Coca-Cola millionaires, who effectively established entire dynasties of financial prosperity transcending generations. And just to really pull this all into perspective, a single Coca-Cola share from Monroe's era with dividends reinvested will have amassed a total value of over $10 million, plus paying around $270,000 a year as of 2013. 100 shares with dividends reinvested will have yielded $1 billion before taxes. Today, Quincy is a quiet town with a population of less than 7,000, but look carefully and you'll find signs of the huge Coca-Cola legacy on the little town, such as at the bank, and you might even see the grandchildren of Coca-Cola millionaires that continue to live there. That'll wrap up our story today. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone you think will find it interesting. A question for the viewers: which stock, if bought today, would see similar returns over the next 100 years?